What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew this Maxi full length dress with balloon sleeves. For those that love to go to the beach, this dress is for you. Although this doesn't mean you can only wear it to the beach. You can wear it casually and style it anyhow you want. So let's move on. I used about 3 yards of patterned organza fabric for this dress. You can also use lace, chiffon, or any light fabric you have because the dress is long and flowy. I feel it will look much better if you don't use a heavy fabric. Now, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please kindly hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up sign while you're there. So first things first, you decide the body measurements you want to use for the dress. It could be your waist, your bust, or your hip, whichever one you want to use. So for me, I'll be using my bust measurements. Then you multiply that by 2 or 3 depending on the amount of fabric you have and how full you want your dress to be. I'll be using 3 yards of fabric for this dress. Like I said earlier, 2 yards will be for the actual body of the dress and the remaining 1 yard will be for the sleeves and the ruffles I'll be using for the dress. So my bust measurement, which is 36, I'll multiply that by 2 inches, which gives me 72 inches. So I'll measure that on my fabric and have it folded just like this. So the front, the upper part here will be the front piece and the one below will be the back piece. So I'm going to cut this open into 2 separate pieces, one front piece and one back piece. And of course, you measure the full length of your dress right here. That is how long you want your dress to be. So I'm going to be cutting this here right now. Now I'll be starting with my front piece. So I'm going to fold this piece into 2, just like this. Then I'll measure the neckline. But instead of measuring a basic 3 by 3 inches neckline, I'm going to widen the neckline. I'm going to make the neckline bigger than normal because I'm still going to gather it back to the length I want. So instead of a 3 by 3 inches neckline, I'm going to double that and make it 6 by 6 inches. You can decide to make yours 7 by 7, 8 by 8, or anyhow you want it, as far as it's wide enough to be gathered and depending on how full you want your gathered neckline to be or how much fabric you have. So I'm going to measure and mark my 6 by 6 inches neckline right now. Then you cut it out, and that's that for that. Then you come to this side and you measure, or you go down by 10 inches, and that's going to stand for the armhole of your dress. So I'm just going to mark that out and I'm going to notch it. And that will be all for that. So you do the exact same thing as you have done here. You do the exact same thing for the back piece, but this is the front piece like I mentioned earlier. So but you do the exact same thing for the back piece. Now for the sleeve, remember the 10 inches we marked out earlier on the dress. You get your 10, you do 10 plus 10, and that gives me 20 inches. So if I open this up and join the front and the back piece together at the shoulders, If I join it together at the shoulders, I'll have 20 inches armhole right here. So that 20 inches will be used to cut the sleeve. So I'm going to fold this into two, and that will be this part will be the width of my sleeve. Now that 10 inches I measured earlier, I'll mark it out here, then add 1 inch seam allowance, and that gives me 11 inches. So I'm going to fold that, and then I'm going to mark that accordingly. So this is my 11 inches sleeve width. Then I'm going to measure how long I want my sleeve to be. For me, I'll be using like between 20 to 23 inches sleeve length for my dress. Then I'll mark that out and cut it. So I'm going to be attaching this part to the armhole of my dress, and then the dress has a balloon sleeve, so I'm going to be cutting an extra piece of fabric for this part to serve as a casing for my elastic, and then I'll put in my elastic, and then it forms a ruched balloon sleeve just like this. So I'm going to cut another one because I'm going to have two sleeves obviously. Now for the ruffle down here on your dress, you are going to measure from the hem where you want to place the ruffle. It can be 10, 15 or 20 inches depending on you. It can even be on your knee or your mid-thigh, or wherever you want it to be exactly. So you locate that on your dress, and then you mark it out. Then you measure the width of that part, that is how wide that part is on your dress. And then for me, I have 36 inches, so I'll multiply that 36 inches by 2 or 3 depending on how much fabric you have or how full you want the ruffle to be. And this is my ruffle piece. It can be as long as you want. This is for the front, and this is for the back. This is the extra fabric strip for the casing of my elastic, and that's that for all the cutting of the dress. So we'll be moving right on to sewing this. Now to sew, the first thing is to run gather stitch through the neckline here. Then you do the same also for the other side. You run gather stitch also to the shoulders here, just like I've done. Then you begin to pull the thread of the gathers to the desired neckline you want for your dress. So I'm just going to pull my gathers now. I'll start with the neckline first. So the trick is to make this wide enough for your head to enter when you want to wear your dress. So you make it wide enough and small enough for it to fit to your neckline, and also wide enough for you to go over your head when you want to wear it. So I'm just going to do both the front and back exactly the same way, and then I'll pull a bit of the shoulders too, just like this. So I'm only going to pull a bit of the shoulders here, from the tip of the neckline here to this place. So the rest of this part will be left ungathered, so just like this. Then you do the same also for the other side, and you do the same also for the back piece. And then I'll be doing that right now and showing you what the final look. So this is my dress all gathered. This is like the gathering of my neckline. This is the shoulders, so I just gathered just a bit of the shoulders and left this part left the remaining parts like that. So, and then you do the other side. Like now, the next thing you have to do now is to turn the neckline. So you can use like a bias tape to turn the neckline, just so that everything becomes like really neat and all of that. then that's what I'll be doing right now. Then I'll join the shoulders, like this part. I'll join the shoulders of my front and back piece together and all of that. So I'm just going to be doing all of that now. So after gathering, the whole of my neckline is all of like 10 to 11 inches. So I'm just going to use my bias tape now to sew this down. Now that we've finished sewing down the neckline, we are just going to join the shoulders together. So you pin both the front and back shoulders together, and then you sew by 1/2 inch. Then you can go ahead to iron the seam open. For the sleeve, you need to decide wherever you want your what's it called, the elastic band. You need to decide where you want it to be on your fabric. So for me, from the hem, I'm just going to measure like maybe 6 inches from the hem. So from there, I'm going to place this extra fabric strip. I'll place it on that mark I measured for on that part I'm measuring for where the elastic is going to be. So I'll place it there, then I'll sew down. Inside this is where my elastic is going to be. All I have to do is to make sure this fabric is exactly like I think 1.5 inches. So what I'm going to do when I'm sewing this is to make sure that I sew it in such a way, because the elastic I'm using, this is the kind of elastic I'm using. So I'm just going to sew exactly this width, the width of this elastic. I'm going to sew it on the fabric. So that's just going to be like a casing of 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch, just so that you have more room to put your pin into. So I'm just going to sew like 3/4 inches in the middle of this on top of my fabric. So I'll do that now, and then I'll fix in my elastic into it. Now this is what this is going to look like sewn down. I hope you can see it. This is exactly where I've sewn a straight stitch. So these are my straight. So through this casing, I'll be putting in my elastic band. So I'll do the same also for the other side, put in my elastic band and fix this to the armhole of my dress. So I'll fix the armhole, I'll fix this part here to the armhole of my dress. So this is my attached sleeve. I already attached this. So I'm going to fix in my elastic into this part, and then I'll join. Okay, before I join the side seams, I'll come right to the hem of my dress here. So you decide wherever you want the ruffle to be. This ruffle that we cut earlier. So wherever you want your ruffle, you gather this up to form a ruffle, just like how to make a ruffle. Then you attach it wherever you want it to be. It could be on your knee level or your mid thigh, anywhere you want, anywhere you want your ruffle to be. So you measure from the hem here and mark it, then you place your ruffle at that point. So you place it here, you place your ruffle like this. So you place it right sides together, so by the time you are done sewing it, it falls this way. So your ruffle is going to fall this way. So I'm just going to do all of that now, attach my ruffle, join my side seams, and then I'll show you what the final look looks like. Then I'll finish up all my rough edges too. And that's that for this tutorial.
And that's it, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and if you have any other questions, please type it in the comment section. See you in my next video. Bye.